Hello, everyone, and welcome. We're so excited to have you join us here today. We have the amazing, I can't even say amazing. Oh, goodness, this is going to be a long interview. The amazing Dawn Woleslagle with us here today. Welcome, Dawn.
Hello, thanks for having me.
Absolutely. It's so exciting to have you because this is the first interview we've gotten to do with you and your first time as a retreat instructor. So we're so excited to get to know you better.
Oh, I'm excited to be here. This is, I think, only my second live interview. So
Wow.
Hopefully I do better this time. Yes. many years.
My favorite. So tell us a little bit about yourself. I think when you reveal a little bit about yourself, people are going to go, oh, so I'm excited to have you tell us a little bit about yourself.
I am Dawn Woleslagle, former owner of U+9 Design Studio. So I had my own craft company for several years, 14, I think it was, and just shut down the studio as a storefront at the end of the year, this past year. So this year I am working with all of my fellow colleagues in the industry and getting a chance to support them and, kind of widening my horizons with the products and everything that I get to play with, because obviously when you own your own brand, you try to focus mostly on that brand, but I've never been really good at sticking strictly to my own brand anyway. So it really wasn't a huge leap for me to move into supporting everyone else and, closing down my business. So that's in a nutshell me in the crafty field.
Well, it's wonderful to see you at different places and to see the different styles come out, because I know I've seen a few things already this year, and it's great to see all the styles and everything coming out. I mean, the designs are amazing. The designs were amazing before, but like you were just mentioning, like now your style, you can just go wild. Like, there's no limitations. There's no, well, this doesn't fit into my style, my usual style. So it's been amazing to see all the designs you've come out with this year, as well as all the loved designs that we all have in our stamp places from your previous designs as well.
Oh, well, thank you so much. Yeah, it's been a lot of fun to get to work with with a lot of the other companies. Behind the scenes, a lot of you already may know that a lot of us are actually, we're friends in real life. We do retreats together. And so we already have this connection, this repertoire, this friendship. So, and we've always supported each other, but now I get to work even more closely I probably drive something crazy because I'm always last minute, which I'm sure she sent me an email about this like 4 days ago, and I finally just got to answer it today. So I was like, but I had seen it, and as long as I'll be there, I promise.
Yeah. I think for a lot of crafters, honestly, procrastination makes it happen. I think we get, because when we're up against it, like those things just start flowing out. The designs just come shooting out of your brain because you got nothing else. Like you got to do it. I mean, there are those days when, it's due in 5 hours and you're like, I got nothing. But a lot of times I think as crafters, that works in our favor, like creativity wise, not deadline wise, but creativity wise. I think we get more inspired as the hours tick down a little bit.
It's funny that you say that because I always, I just want to say a quick hi to everybody in the comments. I see you guys saying hi and leaving all of the nice compliments and everything. I'm so glad that you guys joined in. And I just wanted to recognize over there that I see them coming in. But it's funny that you say that because I always compare it to like creativity is kind of like a snowball. When you first get started, it's just little, and you're like, I have maybe just a little bit of an idea. And it's the same way with illustrating. You start off with something little, and then it just starts growing and growing and growing. So like the more you get into it, the bigger and the more creative and the more ideas come. And then for me, it's usually a whole lot. It's like a mind map. There's like all of this stuff, and some of it relates and some of it doesn't. There'll be like side shoots of, ooh, put a pin in that. That's a good design for another day. You know what I mean? And then I got to narrow it all back down and bring it in focus again. But it's always like that. It starts out really small and then it kind of like explodes. And then it's like, all right, girl, you got to reel it in into like something that's more focused and finished, finessed. So yeah, it's always right up to the deadline.
I'm going to have to use that. Put a pin in it. Put a pin in it. Stop. Reel it in. I love the snowball. And I think it was Andrea who had said, she said it was procrastination. I like that. I think we need that. I think procrastination. Yes, absolutely.
Yes, absolutely. I know for me it's true. I know some people really are really organized and they can just like sit down and they're like, okay, I'm going to do this, 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 and this and execute it. And I'm envious. I am super envious. No, yeah, I've got to like sit down, got to, have a conversation with it, get to know it. It's got to marinate. It's like, and then something may come out of it. It may not.
Hey. I call the process percolating.
Yes.
I'm percolating. So I'm working on it. I'm just percolating because, so this leads into a great question. Are you somebody when they send you like the pictures, the PDF, you're like, oh yeah, I know exactly where I want to go with this. I just need it in my hands. Or are you, I have to pet the stamps, name them, know their history before I can create with them?
Okay. So sometimes I don't even look at the images. Sometimes, and a lot of the times I don't know until I open it.
Yeah.
And this works out really well for me because I swear I have crafty ADD and I'm a rebel. I don't know if you guys know this, but I'm a rebel. All right. So if something catches my eye, like I can't do anything else. Like I'm over here in this, I should be doing X, Y, and Z, but all I want to do, is A. Like that's my number one priority now, even though it's not even due for 2 months.
Yeah.
So I have to restrict myself. Like when I get a new box of goodies, if there's something that, I have to use, or if I have an assignment of some sort, like I have to hide the rest of the stuff. Like I just flip through, I grab what I need, and then I have to hide it because it would be impossible for me to concentrate on what I need to do. Because in my head, I'm like, self, you really need to do this. And I'm like, self, mind your business.
I love that you're having the conversations.
Oh, well, there's many conversations had in this, had up in here.
So it leads into another good question. What do you do when you get a box like this full of beautiful things? Like you have dyes, you have stamps, you have ink, stamps. I mean, there's everything. So what do you really get overwhelmed like when you lift that cover, or you're just like, okay, I'm in the zone. I got this. Like,
okay, so I am a little self-sabotaging because I feel like it is what it is. All right. So I'm usually immediately attracted to something. Obviously, florals. I love, love, love florals. That's I can work with florals all day and all night until the end of time. But I also love a challenge. So I self-sabotage because I know that I want to use this and I have 15 ideas for it. But there's that one thing over there that I'm not quite sure what I want to do with it, and I need to figure it out. And I'll spend forever figuring out what I want to do with this thing over here just to prove to myself that I can do it. It's kind of self-sabotaging, but it's how I learn stuff too, really. I learn a lot doing that.
And it sounds like it's a challenge too, because it's something where you're not immediately, I mean, we all have that. We're not immediately like, oh my God, I have to, oh my gosh, you're like petting the stamp set, you're hugging it, you love it. There's stuff that we're kind of like, it's not really my style. I don't know what I would do with that. I don't know. And it's so easy, like you said, to go with the one you have 20 ideas for.
Yeah.
But then this other fellow's sitting alone in the corner without a dance partner. And you're like, well, maybe this fellow would like to dance, and maybe we should,
Exactly. It's like, maybe I'm missing out on something. It might speak to me once I get it out and start working with it, or maybe I'll discover a technique that I actually really, really like that works really, really well with this thing. And plus, like I said, I'm a rebel and a little self-sabotaging.
You do have a cause, crafting.
Yes.
She is not a rebel without a cause. She has a cause, crafting.
Exactly.
And I think I've experienced the same thing you're talking about. Some of my favorite projects have been those ones that I've danced with the guy that was alone in the corner, and it's something that pushes inside. It's a self-challenge. So I don't think you're self-sabotaging. I think we should put a positive spin, because I think you're challenging yourself and strengthening your skills. And yes,
I'll go with that. I like that. That sounds positive.
So what's the first thing you ripped out of the box with this kit? What was your like?
It was a Leafy Splendor 3D embossing folder and the stencil. And surprise, surprise, that's not what I used in my project. I'm just being honest. I just told y'all. I'm like, that's the one that I gravitated toward, but what did I use? Not that one.
And I go for the leaves. I go for the leaves because I feel like the flowers of the bride, the leaves of the bridesmaid. So like, I don't want to leave the bridesmaid hanging out there. There've been a lot of weddings, but they're not. So I love when the leaves are the star of the show. So that was I saw that too. And I was like, oh my gosh, like leaves, and there's so much, especially having that stencil that you can do with those leaves. I mean, it's just kind of endless having that stencil. You can do a lot without it too, but I think especially for beginners, those are helpful with the stenciling.
Yeah, I agree. I believe it or not, I do like my florals, but leaves are they're number 2.
Oh yeah.
I love leaves. One of my favorite sets ever is autumn leaves. So leaves are so versatile and they're so colorful, and even one green leaf can change into 3 or 4 different shades throughout its lifetime, different colors. So, I don't know. Ever since I started gardening, I've never had a bigger appreciation for green and leaves. Do you know how many shades of green there are?
No, but I've seen a lot. I live in Maine, so I've seen a lot. I've seen a lot of shades, but I wouldn't hazard a guess how many.
Yeah, so I never had such an appreciation for the color green as I have since I, started watercoloring, because I primarily do a lot of floral watercoloring.
Yep.
And since I started gardening myself, just picking the right shade of green to pair with certain color flowers can really change the whole look of your garden. So, it's like, I love me some leaves. That was a very long answer.
That's okay. That's okay. We love any length answers. You be as long or as short as you would like. I love what you said too about leaves, because you can use them for a birthday card, sympathy card, anything. And usually there aren't a lot of sets that you can really pair with a birthday card or a sympathy card, because you have such varying emotions attached to those kind of categories. So leaves really, though, can be anything, any color, anything. It's
Oh
just
yeah.
so versatile. Oh, and Andrea said, I love leaves because they can go either masculine or feminine, probably even more versatile than flowers. And I mean, I think so. What do you think, Dawn?
I agree. And hello, Andrea. I'm so glad she's here. She is a longtime friend there in our Encourage Creativity group. So I was so happy to see that she was able to join in. I agree. Leaves can be even more versatile than flowers. But florals can be masculine too. Believe it or not, a lot of the gardeners that I follow on like YouTube and social media, a large bunch of them are men.
Yeah.
And I mean, they're growing flowers and everything else. So, I mean, I personally think that florals can be masculine or feminine, but if you're going with the traditional sense, yeah, she's correct. Leaves can be more masculine than most people will give florals credit for.
And I'm like you, like everybody in my life gets florals, men, women, children, everybody gets florals, because I think we send flowers to anybody in life. So why can't we send a floral card? That's kind of my thinking. I may change my tones to more like blues and grays, or, orange and yellow and gray, or something. But I think you really can nowadays send flowers to anybody. So
Absolutely.
And so if you're joining and you're like, okay, this is awesome. I'm getting an interview with Dawn, who never does interviews, and you're so excited about that. And you're like, but what is this event? Let me tell you what this event is. This is the Secret Garden 2024. We have 6 amazing instructors joining us for a 12-hour day of fun on May 4th. The videos are all recorded. You also get beautiful color PDFs of the cards, so you can make them on your own if you want to. You can craft along. You can come that day and ask questions of the instructors if you're stuck on a step. If you would just like to know if Dawn likes, I always say avocado, let's say chicken, you could ask her. So it gives an opportunity to interact with some of your favorite crafters that you usually see videos of on YouTube, and you don't get to interact with them. So that's kind of a special component of this. And you get to keep the videos forever. They're yours. There's no time limit to watch them. So you could make Dawn's card 30 years from now. You could go back and you could make Dawn's card if you would like to. So that's the event that we're talking about. And the amazing Keisha, who is behind the Altenew badge, is putting a code in so that you can save some money. So if you use the code LiveDawn, it's going to save you. You're going to see that price decrease in your cart. So make sure you use the code, because we love to be able to give opportunities to save money. We want everybody to come craft with us. It's an amazing kit. It's an amazing day with amazing instructors. And honestly, you meet new crafty friends. So it's just a fabulous day all around. So now, what are you most excited about for this retreat? Because it's your first with us. What are you most pumped about?
What am I most pumped about? I think I'm too nervous to be pumped at this point. The pumped part will come in a little bit later, I'm sure. Now that I've pretty much got everything figured out, what we're creating and all of that, and I don't have that nervous part. But then again, this is where that comes in. I usually do much better when I have something to focus on, and the nerves can be silenced by the train of thought of, either getting the project done or doing the work or teaching or something. So now that that's done, I have more anxiety about thinking about the class. It's kind of like leading up to this. And I know a lot of us out there a lot of crafters are introverts and maybe suffer from anxiety. So I'm sure that they can kind of relate. But I didn't get really nervous until about 15 minutes before this went live, because prior to that, I had to clean up this wreck of an office, because I was like, oof, there's boxes, we got to get everything cleaned up, vacuum, and then I've got to get my lighting set up so that I'm not looking like I'm sitting in a dungeon, which probably didn't do too good of a job at. Make sure that all the technical stuff was set up. And then once everything was done and it was, time to go live, then it's when it's like, ooh, there's going to be a lot of people. You got to be on camera. And then that's when the nerves jumped in. So I'm pumped. for the class. But again, now that the work portion of it has finished and we're not actually in the class now the nerves are going to start to come in.
The little anxiety fella's like, hello.
Yeah. He's like, I see the field is wide open. Can I come play?
Never mind, I'm coming over anyway. Oh, Nancy, yes, I have the 2 feet. I'm lucky I'm in the 2 feet zone of snow coming for me tonight. So luckily my mom's in the 20 foot expected. So I'm in the lower end. So I guess it's good to get 2 feet of snow versus, like 3, 4. So yes, but yes. So you stay safe as well. And definitely a perfect time for crafting. Have an Altenew package coming today. I mean, how is that not good? Kirsten says, why be nervous? Crafters tend to be the more supportive group. And yes, they, and like you said, a lot of crafters know exactly, like they have the anxiety. They know that feeling like that your stomach drops and they know the whole thing. So it's nice to be amongst friends that understand that kind of feeling.
Oh, absolutely. And crafters really are the most supportive group, really. So it has nothing to do with it's nothing to do with the group, and it's all in here. Like I said, if you suffer from it, it's all in here. But again, I love a challenge, so we're gonna get through it.
Oh yeah. And you got a moderator with you all day, like just like this, just saying, hey, I got a question from Betty. Betty wants to know, and so it's, again, nice conversation. And yeah, you just craft along. So hopefully it will be all good, which will be good.
Oh, it'll be great. And again, I have a task. I have a task to focus on. So it helps. The teaching aspect helps to get through it.
So speaking of the teaching, when you made your project, do you feel like it's like a signature Dawn project, or was it something a little outside, something we'd normally see?
I think it's I don't know, maybe a mix of both. I don't know that I have a signature style. I think my signature style is not to have not a nailed down style. I don't know. Like I said, I get bored easily. I love to be challenged. I always have to change things up and mix it up. My husband makes fun of me all the time. He's like, why would I ever need to get remarried? I have a new woman like every 6 months, because I get bored. I gotta change things, but I would say there's definitely a lot that you're going to recognize. Obviously, we're working with florals, so there's one. Definitely, I tend to try to add as much detail as I can without, adding too much detail. So maybe like the most detail you can on a beginner level, just those nice ways to kind of set yours apart from somebody else's. So there's definitely that. Like I go crazy with ink blending. I know I'm out of my mind. I'm insane. When I'm doing it, I'm saying to myself, like, girl, what are you doing? Just stop already.
But you can't. I just can't.
Well, it's like you want to push those boundaries. It's like how much can I do with just a little? Like how big of an impact can I make with just shadows? Or I don't know how to explain it. It keeps it fresh, keeps it new. It keeps me interested in the industry and doing this.
It's the challenge that we talked about earlier.
Yeah.
It's, like, yes, you can have 20 inks in front of you, but can you make beautiful colors with 4? And what can you make? Have you blended those before? And then, the blending starts and you lose your mind and you just go and you have beautiful colors. And that's, once the ink blending starts, all bets are off. Like it's a zone. It's like the Twilight Zone. It's the blending zone, man. You're just in it. You're out.
Yes, I agree. And those little bitty blending brushes, those are dangerous in my hands.
That's great for us. That's awesome. They're dangerous in your hands. It means we're going to see something. Ooh,
I thought I could do a lot of detail with like a 1/2-inch brush. I'm like, oh wait, this is like the size of a pencil eraser.
You can get like paper thin with those. Like, I mean, it is so amazing. So You're doing so great at leading into like my next questions today. It's like we're like in the zone here. So, what do you think out of the kit is something that you're like, this is going to stay with me? Like, even though the event's going to be over, like, what out of the kit is going to really stay with you that you really just can't put down?
Um, well, obviously the little bitty bending brushes. They're never leaving. What is something? Well, all of it really. I mean, all of it's really good, really timeless. I mean, the leaves, that 3D embossing folder, like we mentioned, I can't remember the name of it right off the top of my head. Obviously the inks and the floral dyes. They're beautiful. All of it. All of it. Is there anything in there that you wouldn't keep?
No, love it all. Have to have it all.
Yeah. I'm like, I think what would I keep? All of it. There's nothing I wouldn't keep.
I think I mean, and especially the inks. The inks are just so fantastic. And I just have no words for the inks. Like I can't even pick a favorite out of do you have a favorite out of the 6?
Do I have a favorite out of the 6? Well, I love corals and yellows. So that is it rose blush or blush rose?
I get the names. I flipped the names. So I think it's blush rose, but I could be wrong. I do flip them sometimes.
The lemonade stand and that teal tempest. I love that shade of blue. It's very, very similar to like Prussian blue in watercolor, which Prussian blue that's my ride or die right there, you know. Nothing can come between us. So it kind of leans more toward that. And so I do really, really like that one.
They are, and they're just, I think they work great too with the Altenew catalog, like putting them back in, mixing them in with other families. Like already I looked at the honeydew and I'm like, okay, I could put this with XYZ. Like I'm ready to go. I can pair this with so many things. So excited about putting them together. And that's what I love about these kits is that although they're new, they pair so well with your past supplies that you have in your space right now.
Right. I agree.
Now, how does crafting help? Like if you're overwhelmed, you're anxious, does crafting come into play? Does crafting help you out?
I do. I think that all art is a magnificent therapy.
Yeah.
I would highly recommend, even it doesn't have to be crafting, any art form, whether it's writing, painting, crafting, woodworking, gardening, any of those hands-on hobbies that are in the creative field they're excellent therapy. And I would say anybody that even feels like they may be struggling with any sort of anxiety or anything like that, find something in the creative field where you can work and make things with your hands, and it helps immensely. I mean, hands down, I think that in, conjunction with, your traditional therapy or whatever, but there is just something about creating things with your hands and expressing yourself creatively that I think is a great therapy.
Now, you mentioned you like to garden. What do you like do you just do florals or do you grow like veggies and stuff like that?
Yeah, it's like, what do I not do at this point? The gardening, I think a lot of us may have got into garden 2020. And I started it then. Previously, I mean, I couldn't keep anything alive. I was killing succulents, cactuses. Like, girl, I called this place hospice for plants. It was where they came to die. And 2020, I needed a challenge, So I was like, I'm going to grow something. And I started with vegetables. And I went all in. And so we built a little raised garden in one area of the yard because we were working on building up the soil. Now, did I mention that I have a little like ADD, which means I get hyper focused on things? Yeah. So rabbit hole. So we ripped out all of our landscaping, front yard and backyard. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, girl. I told you I go all in.
Wow.
And so we ripped it all out and I totally redesigned it. And we redid all of the front. Well, we did all of the back first year. Then we did all the hardscaping up front. Then we did all of the plants. And because while we were doing the back, we were building the soil in the front, putting down the mulch, letting it break down, feeding the soil, Girl, built me a butterfly garden in the front, planted 3 trees, redid the entire landscape, got my vegetable garden, redid the entire back. And so it's like, what am I not growing? And then, so we finished it in March. Well, it's never finished. Let's be real. We finished the front yard in March of last year. And then, now this is going to come across as like tooting your horn, but I'm not tooting my horn. I just wanted to let you know how, like, we had nothing in this yard after we ripped it out, finished it up pretty much in March. And then in August, we were yard of the month.
Wow.
And I mean, it's not like I'm like, oh, we got yard of the month. I mean, come on, it's an HOA and they put a stupid tax sign in your front yard. But still, I was like, we went from nothing, bare dirt. You know what I mean? It was like we redid the whole thing. But yeah, I told you, I'm rabbit hole, man. I'm all in. So I'm growing everything. Bushes, fruit, vegetables, flowers, annuals, perennials, bananas, everything.
Bananas? You're growing bananas. Wow.
Oh, yeah. Well, I'm in Florida, so we're subtropical. So I can grow. What?
I said the opposite. I'm getting snow. You're tropical.
Yeah. I mean, it's 75 here today, but overcast and rainy, storming. So, you get the plants love it. So I'm not complaining.
They grow and they're beautiful. Well, congratulations on your prestigious award. That's fabulous.
Yes. I mean, that's,
to come from nothing and to have all that, that's so cool.
Yeah. I mean, it was actually pretty funny because I was more upset because I was like, the sign does not matter. I don't like that sign. I don't want it in my yard. Is that bad? That's bad. I didn't say that out loud. We're going to pretend I didn't say that.
But in the end, something beautiful came out of it. You now have like fruits and veggies, you have beautiful flowers. So,
Oh, yeah. So some of them aren't doing so well. Some of them are going to need to be replaced. That's, again, what I love about the gardening. They're living. So you have to find out what they need to thrive and survive, and weather affects it and other animals affect it, so it's like you can never quite master it or learn everything there is to know about it. So you're constantly in a state of learning, which again is another great thing for, anxiety. Releases those endorphins and, you learn things, you feel good.
Yeah. And you never know what you're going to like either. So I like your fearless attitude of just like jumping in because you never know. Are you going to like gardening? Are you going to like, paper crafting? You don't know until you try it. And so that's awesome. Like you're fearless. Just jump right in. Let's see what we got.
Yeah. I mean, you're either going to succeed or you're going to learn what you did wrong.
Yeah.
I don't think it's succeed or fail. You're only going to fail if you quit and you don't keep trying. So, what do you have to lose? Keep going.
Absolutely. And I like that. I actually, shockingly, I have a t-shirt that says that you either learn or you succeed. So, I mean, either way, it's a positive because you're learning or you're succeeding. So, you make a few adjustments and then hopefully next time it's the succeeding, not the learning. But sometimes I can be a slow learner sometimes. Sometimes it takes a few goes before I catch up with the learning. So.
Oh, this one right here. I'm the definition of insanity.
Yes. I'm probably there with you in the same part of the dictionary.
Mm-hmm.
So now how do you balance your personal and your crafty life? Because I mean, it's obviously changed because you used to run a whole company but now you're designing like wild. So how do you balance that all out?
Is that what we're aiming for here? No, it's a lot easier now, believe it or not. Like I said, my children are grown. So, which is the main reason that I had started W+9 in the first place was so that I could be home to help raise my children. That was important to me. Not that it's, important to everybody, or not that if you can't, it's, not a good thing. For the first 5 years, 5 years, I'm trying to think. It wasn't until my second son came along that I was able to do it. So my first one, I worked full time and moonlighted starting W+9. So I was out. I mean, I was gone a lot. But once I was able to, stay home and work and help raise them, that's what W+9 did for me. Now they're older. So I don't have that large of a demand on my time anymore from them. One is 19, one is 23. So, I mean, they're grown men now. I don't know how well I did, but they're grown men now.
I'm sure you did amazing.
Yes. So there's less demand on my time from them now. And my husband, he works and he could use more hobbies, but he has his hobbies. Because I have too many hobbies. I have so many hobbies. He's like, I don't think I need more hobbies. I think you need less hobbies. I'm like, fair. Okay. But the balance is I do try. I was just talking with Kelly Taylor this week. Was it this week? And I said, I'm getting much better because I'm horrible about checking email. Horrible. I mean, I'll be the first to admit it, but much better about it now. And she was like, I didn't know if you missed the email over the weekend. And I was like, if it came on the weekend, I did miss it, because I do try. That is my one rule. I don't check email on the weekends.
Yep.
Because circle back. What did I say before? If I've got something over here I might need to address, it's there until I take care of it, and it's going to distract away from what I need to be doing over here.
Yeah.
So on the weekends, I do try not to check email, and I do try to make sure that I am giving the family time to my family on the weekends. Now on the weekdays, don't bother me. I'm working.
In the zone.
I'm in the zone. Yeah. I pretty much make sure that I am addressing family time.
And that's good to have the downtime, with them. That's amazing. And that's a wonderful thing. Technology, unfortunately, makes us too available, and it's putting it down and walking away. That's the hard thing, because you're like, but what if I get that one email I have to answer, and then, like you said, rabbit hole, you go down the rabbit hole. So it's good that you're able to disconnect, walk away, and be fresh to create all those beautiful projects next week.
Yeah, it is the social media aspect. I mean, if we get another platform, I might scream. I'm serious. Like, I can keep up with Facebook and YouTube.
Yeah.
Even my Instagram, I'm not like, I don't think I've posted in there in a couple of months. I'm like, I need to get in there and post on Instagram. I know I do, especially now that I am working for other companies and not just myself. Obviously, I need to get on, but I'm like, oh, why are there so many? I refuse to get on TikTok or Twitch or any of the others. I'm like, I can't handle it, man. There's only so much time in one day.
I'm with you. I don't know if it's an age thing. Like I'm just like, okay, I got three. Like I've got 3 balls. Like I'm juggling 3 balls in the air right now with that. And I'm like, please don't throw another one at me. Stop throwing balls at me.
Right?
I don't know if I can juggle anymore. Like that. No. So
same.
Yeah. And it is, but I mean, it's great because you get to have all that inspiration and everything, but it can be, I think sometimes we use it as a creative resource. Like if we have no, go-go juice in the tank, as my dad used to say, and we have nothing, we just have no inspiration. But then I think sometimes you can get too inspired because there's so much on just Instagram in 2 minutes. You can see probably 100 projects easy, depending on how fast your thumb scrolls, so I mean, that can be overwhelming if you're just looking to start a project and you have 200 ideas in mind. So then where do you start again? You're back at that same spot where do I start again?
I agree. And I'm always curious. I know some people prefer Instagram or Reels or Shorts or whatever they're called on whichever platform you're looking at them on. Over YouTube videos. And for me, I just found that when I was on Instagram, I was actually wasting more time on those short form platforms than on YouTube because I would instinctively just watch one more and one more and
Yep.
one more and one more. And at, a minute or two each, by the time you're 10 minutes, 10 of those in, that's like 20 minutes. You know what I'm saying? And
Yep.
with a YouTube video, I'd be like, okay, this is a 17-minute video. All right, I'm going to watch this video. And then when it ended, I was prompted, oh, I need to go do whatever I was going to go do because this is now ended. Do you know what I mean? But with
Exactly. Yeah. It's endless on Instagram, but on
right,
YouTube, there's a defined time period that you're aware of.
very, very much so. With Instagram, it would be like boom, 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 boom. And it's like before I knew it, I was like half an hour. Like, oh, I was supposed to go do that 15 minutes ago.
Yeah. And then I know I get very overwhelmed just with the ideas. I'm like, oh, I have that set. I got to make something like that. I like that. Oh, I like that color. Oh, yes, I got to do this flower. And then, before you know it, it's like, whoa, okay. Like I have
Yeah.
60 cards here and I have time to make one. Like, which one do I pick?
Oh, absolutely. And that's Nancy, I think it was Kelly in here said analysis paralysis. Yes.
Yes. Yes, absolutely. Well, our conversation kind of leads into the next question. This is very cool, but very, very strange that it keeps leading into it. Our conversation is working beautifully with the questions today. So, if you could only pick 5 items and ink colors all count as one to
Okay.
put in a go bag, what are you going to put in for your 5 items?
Oh, that's easy.
Okay.
5 items to go. I don't even need 5 to go in my to-go bag.
Okay, love it.
Watercolors,
Yep.
watercolor paper,
Yep.
and brushes.
That's good. That's a good
I
one.
mean, you said a crafty go bag.
Yep.
That's all I would need is,
Yep.
watercolor paper, watercolor brushes, and watercolor.
That's a
That's my
good one.
true love, so.
That's and you really can do anything. You can do backgrounds, you can do focals, you can do really anything with that.
Absolutely.
So
Now,
put
since I
in
have 2 more, we'll
Yeah,
go
you could use 2 more.
yeah, if I could use 2 more, and we wanna do cards, so maybe a sentiment set and, obviously, I'd then need some ink to stamp with. There we go.
And then you could also do so many things you can do with the ink too, because you can splatter the watercolor, you can splatter. Just again, such a fun rabbit hole that you can go down and figure out. Share in the comments with us, what are you putting in your crafty to go bag? We would love to know what you're going to put and take with you. How do you go from when you're stuck? What's your way to get unstuck for creativity?
Um, if the people in my group or our encouraging creativity group here will tell you that my way to get unstuck is to do a creative play session. So I don't have the aim to create anything in that session. Maybe I just want to do some ink smushing, or maybe I want to try some of the new folders and see what their patterns are. Maybe I want to try to watercolor something, maybe, and not something for a finished product. Maybe I saw a tutorial and I want to see if I can do that technique, but it's just a crafty PlayStation. Die cut things, ink blend them, but I have no end goal in mind. And usually once I start playing with things like that, then the ideas will start snowballing. And then you get that whole snowball effect. So, and then the creativity comes back.
And what are you loving right now? Is it because with your crafty to go bag, I have a guess. Are you in the zone with watercolor right now? Or do you have is it blending or die cutting? Like, what's your passion at the moment?
Right now, well, mine always changes. So we've talked about this, trying not to get bored with any one thing. Watercolor is always an underlying current. So we'll just, anytime that I'm not feeling creative, I will pick up my brushes and I'll just watercolor, because there's no expectation on my watercolors. Those are usually just done for me, for my own personal growth, and there's no monetary value to them really. So I haven't monetized that yet. Hopefully not. But so I mean, that's my escape, that I still get to be crafty, kind of private,
Yep.
Um, the what was my question?
What is your like go-to technique of the like watercolor ink
Oh, right
blending?
now,
Like,
what am I into?
yeah, at
I'm
this
actually
moment.
really into die cutting right now. The die cuts and the blending.
And do you use like a lot of watercolor on your die cuts as well? Like, do you mesh like your happiness worlds?
Sometimes, but believe it or not, I have yet to watercolor on die cuts.
Wow.
I know. I
That
need
could be
to
something
do it.
fun.
That sounds like a good little challenge. Maybe we'll put a pin in that.
Yes, yes. I love putting the pin in that. Now, do you have your absolute favorite thing? Do you want to share what that is today? Everybody can see, you can see the picture of the kit on the website, but what was your absolute hands down, this is the one thing that I am protecting with my life in the kit?
Hmm. I really, really enjoyed the stencil, the garden stencil, what was it called? Lord. Um, the floral background stencil. That's what we're gonna call it. It has a name.
Oh, oh, gotcha, gotcha. Yes. I'm I'm also drawing a blank on that. It is, let me, I'll get it right here for
I
us.
don't feel so bad now.
It's hard when it's like, I just don't want to confuse the name so that people go and look for it. I want to have it so I can give it to you. So, and that's, I think that's great because the one you're referring to works with not only the stamp set, but it works alone. Like, it creates a beautiful, beautiful design as well alone for your projects. That is, it's the flower bed. Okay.
Flower bed. See,
Yes.
yeah, that's that one. I like that one. I actually ended up really, really enjoying that one. I like the different looks that you can get from it. So,
There's
which
so much you can do with that. Like, in it, at first you look at it and you're like, oh, look at this amazing, because there's like the image on the front of the stencil. Oh, look at this, I can create. But then you can push it so much more. And I think that's the fun, is finding how far you can push a product. Like, what can I get out of the product that maybe it wasn't, like, quote unquote intended to do? So maybe creating single flowers or creating your own arrangement, moving them around. And so I think that's why I love those types of stencils. That was a fabulous choice. That's an awesome, awesome one.
I agree 100%. That's one of the things that I love taking. I call them prefab designs
Yep.
because at first glance, it's like it looks like that's all you can do with it. The design is already figured out, and you're just adding the color. Or the design's already figured out, and yours is going to look just like everybody else's if you follow the steps.
Yep.
That's only if you follow the recommended steps, and they're just a recommendation. So it's always fun to see how far you can push that and how different you can make it look from how everybody else is using it.
And I think that's one great thing about going back to the retreat is, the amazing instructors make a card, they do a project, they show you step by step how to make it. But then you guys go loose with this kit and you start making projects. And I know in the past, like, instructors have been like, oh my gosh, like, I wish I made that. Like, you guys make such amazing things and it's so wonderful. So make sure with this set that you guys share whatever you make. We want to see whatever you make, even if it's like Dawn said, if it's different colors, if you use the flower in a different way, we want to see that. We want to see how far you can push these supplies as well.
Absolutely. And I think one of the most challenging things for me for the class was keeping myself constrained to the time limit.
Yeah.
When I was coming up with the project, it was that was kind of hard. I was, you want to make sure that everybody comes away from the class feeling like they got a lot of bang for their buck.
Yep.
So you are trying to cram as much as you can into that allotted time. And you're like, how much more? All right, how many more minutes do I have? How fast was that? You know what I mean? But it's like, also you want to make sure that you're allotting time for questions and explanation and things like that. So, but that was the hardest part.
And there's so many beautiful products in this kit as well. Like, it's hard, like, who do you choose? Who do you leave out? Who do you know, and that's the other, like, I mean, this kit, you could probably do 24 hours yourself with like all your ideas from this kit, because there's so much stuff in there, for the dies and the embossing folders, the stamp sets, the stencils, the extras, there's so much. So it's hard to do that. Like you said, it's that time limit is so tough sometimes, because you want to create everything that's in the kit.
Absolutely. Yeah. That was, like I said, that was the hardest thing for me. It was like, again, remember the mind map thing? It's like, reel it in, girl, reel it in.
And you reel in a beautiful project. So that's always good.
Oh,
So are you team peak or are you team wait? Like, I always say I'm ripping the tape off the box with my teeth as I round the corner. Like I need to know what's in there. I need to put my hands on it. I need to see it. Or are you patient and you can wait until the event comes to enjoy it then?
am I team peak or team wait? So based on what we've talked about, what would be your guess that I am?
My guess is you're with me ripping the tape off as you round the corner.
I'm team wait.
Really?
Mhm.
Wow.
I wait for gifts. I don't like to peek. I have cheesecake once a year for my birthday. I can eat it anytime I want. There's no reason other than I want it to remain special. It's my birthday cake. Yeah, and I hide sets from myself. I put things out of sight so that I can't touch them or mess with them until I take care of what I need to take care of.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm away.
Wow. Okay. I thought you were just good at like compartmentalizing and organizing.
Oh,
So wow, very surprised. Very cool though. I'm in awe of everybody that can wait, because the box is open the second my hand touches it, it's open. Like I'm ready to go. I have to be in there seeing everything, and because the pictures are inspiring. But when you get that in your hands, it's like a whole different world. So I'm ready to go. Like it's like I've seen the picture, I gotta go. So excited.
yeah, I'm a team lead. Even with I'm working with several different companies now. For most of the things that I'm doing for them, I have certain deadlines, and I will, if their box comes in and there is somebody a deadline ahead of them, like I'm not even opening their box yet. It'll
Wow.
distract me. And then I'm
Yeah.
like, again, that, kid in a candy shop. Then my mind is going and all the tabs are open and then I got to shut them all down again. It's like, we got to minimize the distraction. It's for my own good.
It makes sense. And it's good you have a process and you know what works for you. That's the important key, is knowing what works in your space for you.
I'd get nothing done if I did. Because like I said, it's like, ooh, squirrel.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I see squirrels all day long. I mean, they're everywhere. I don't know how there are so many squirrels in life, but well, thank you so much for joining us, Dawn. This was fabulous. I hope you had a good time as well at the interview, and it was not too anxiety provoking during the interview. I hope it went well for you as well. And for all of our amazing chatters in the chat, we always love when you guys come and share the love and just, provide your input as well, from, talking about mindsets and just sharing the love. We love to share the crafty love here. So it's always good to see you. And it won't be long before we're going to see Dawn again, and she's going to be creating a beautiful project with us. So that's very exciting.
Yeah, and I want to thank you so much for having me. Obviously, for inviting me to teach with Altenew. It's a great honor, and I'm super excited. I want to thank everyone in the chat who joined in today. And I didn't get a chance to see everybody, but I will go through the comments, you guys. So if there was any specific question for me, I will make sure to go through and answer those. So if you did have one, go ahead and leave it, and I will take a peek at those.
And as always, to the amazing Keisha behind the badge, thank you so much. It was absolutely fabulous to have you join us. Don't forget, we have a code. We have a code to save since you joined our interview with Dawn, and it's going to be Live Dawn if you go check that out at altenew.com. And we will see you again tomorrow at 5 p.m. With Jennifer McGuire and JC Gaspar. They're going to be crafting with something old and new, something from the kit and something from a previous release. So that'll be fun and exciting. So make sure to bring your questions and join us. And from all of us at Altenew, thank you so much for joining us and sharing some crafty time. And we look forward to seeing you all again very soon. Bye, everyone.